YouTube, what's going on? We're back with more of the First Descendant. Got Bunny out rocking her high voltage crit build. This is a fantastic build for running the Supermassive Receptors for just consistently, easy clear runs. So absolutely love it. Extremely powerful. Go over it all in detail. It's all time stamped in there for you, as well as the showcase run. So you guys appreciate the content. You guys liking the videos. Please feel free to turn on those notifications, sub to the channel, drop a like. All right, this is my Bunny build that I use to clear the infiltration operation Supermassive Receptor. This is a crit build, or normally people just spec into the amplifications, but I did do this one into spec it into a crit build. Seemed to be doing the same amount of clear time, so you could go either way on it. But this is a crit build that I was using. I was getting some pretty decent clear times. You'll see on the showcase run, I was able to do it, sub 8 minutes. I've been getting like 7:45. I believe this one was a 7:53 clear time on the Supermassive Receptor. So with this, we're going to run the crit hit rate, crit hit damage on the Tingling Singularity Reactor. Again, this specs in nicely with the 3 ability that we're using, which is the Lightning Emission, which has the high voltage applied to it. It's a singular skill, so we're going to beef into that one. That's the crux of our damage, so that's why we're running the singular reactor. I'm running this with a 4-piece Slayer set. I do like to run this with a 2-piece what is it? 2-piece Supernova sensor and a 2-piece Enlightened Mage, but I went for max damage output on this build. And went with a 4-piece Slayer set. Again, this nets you an additional 15% cost, but you get the 26% skill power that goes with it, so it's a little bit of a give and take. The reason why I do mix it up with a 2-piece with the Enlightened Mage and the Supernova is strictly for the survivability. Just run really low HP to rely heavily on the defensives to keep yourself alive. So if you're struggling with survivability, that's an option to swap out for a 2-piece Supernova, 2-piece Enlightened Mage set. When it comes to the to the rolls, again, MP recovery out of combat, the MP recovery in combat, MP recovery out of combat, max MP. Again, we got some electrical resistance, MP recovery modifiers, max shield recovery modifiers. I feel like those are all good rolls on it. And when it comes to the coring, again, max HP and defense, I like to run that across all my across all of my external component sets, unless it's something unique. So that's what I rock with it. When it comes to the Arche tuning, again, we are spec'd into crit. So the most important thing is making sure you get all of these critical hit rates and the critical hit damage. Don't really need the cooldown, so we're able to spec all the way up into the mutant cell and apply the electric chain catalyst. That's what I like to rock with, or that's what I've currently got running on that. And then capstoning the enhanced skill power. So that's the path I ran, at least for this run. I like this one when I'm running critical hit rates, and obviously I just swap that into Colossus when I need to. Again, it's kind of unique. I haven't really done a crit build with Bunny before. Again, I'm not really seeing any like enhanced clear times swapping back and forth. When it comes to the inversion reinforcement, I like to run with the survival. Again, when I'm getting hit, at least I'm getting all attribute resistance against, all attribute resistance applied to myself, so that's fantastic. We've got the MP regeneration, and we've got the reduced skill cost to keep that down, so that we're able to not worry about mana or electricity costs when we're using our 4th ability to take down the boss. The fellow, we run this with the mana fellow. Automatically recovers MP every 45 seconds. Synergizes nice with the inversion reinforcement. So with the Descendant modules, we run with the trigger module gap in time. Again, this is just base proportional skill damage related to our base skill cooldown. So that's just nice base damage, and again, this triggers nicely with a couple of our damage ones that we're dropping consistently throughout our mobbing with the lightning emission and the throw bomb. I'm running this with the high voltage. I feel like the high voltage is actually a better option right now than the electric intense. I don't know why that is. I'm just having a funner time and better clear times running my high voltage. Transcendent module. But again, I will do an electric intense build. But I have been at least running the critical, the crit hit, the crit build on high voltage. It's been really nice, really fun to use. That's kind of why I'm sharing with you guys here now. So yeah, that's my Transcendent module. That's my trigger module. We do have an Ancestor module equipped. Again, this is Fusion helps with the 4th, and the skill critical hit damage obviously helps with this, the crit damage that we have. We got a little bit of range in there. Looking for something better. We would like these in gold. I would like skill critical hit damage, skill critical hit rate, and maybe some cost or some cooldown in there would be nice. We'll even take the fusion or singular, in one of those. So if it was my 4-piece perfect set, obviously you'd probably want fusion, singular, skill critical hit damage, skill critical hit rate, or at least singular with maybe some range or skill cost cooldown on that. So all options that we're looking for. I've had to I've re-rolled these and ran them a few times. Still haven't gotten exactly what I need, but this one's fairly a fairly nice Ancestor module that I'm running with the set. So again, there's nothing too special about this. Running this with the the 2 critical hits, so critical hit rate and the critical hit damage. Those are standard. Skill concentration, skill insight, front lines, more skill critical hit damage and skill critical hit rate. We've got our power increase for just base skill power, skill expansion for a little bit more range. Again, we sacrifice a little bit on the amount of enemies that we can hit, so having a little bit more range to reach out and grab a little bit more as they're as they're getting lit up is pretty nice. Again, we got our nimble fingers for our skill cooldown. Again, what we want to have is the perfect loop. As you see, the skill cooldown's at 16.4 with a duration of 20 seconds. You could swap this out for the focus on singular, focus on fusion to get your perfect loop on the cooldown, but that requires you to let go of the skill power, which it's kind of hard. You can use that as an option. It might net you a little bit more times, but I like to leave the power increase in there, so we're running with the nimble fingers, and hence why I was on one of the rolls it would be nice to have a little bit of more cooldown or some duration on there to be able to loop this without having to take up the slot, which would free it up for some more damage. So always gains to be had with that. That's why we're running with some nimble fingers. We got the spear and shield for some survivability on the defensive side with the skill power bump, which is really nice to prop up with the power increase. Strong mentality, keep our skill cost down, so we don't have to worry about the mana cost. Synergizes nice with our inversion reinforcements, and I really like running a decimator. You could swap that out again with that focus if you wanted some type of focus mod. You could even put the emergency measures possibly in for decimator, but I like the when defeating enemies inflicted with debuffs, electricity is a debuff. You get the skill power modifier plus 5% per defeated enemy for 10 seconds up to 10 stacks, so it's a 50% skill power modifier bump. So I really do like that module. Again, you can swap that out for emergency measures to get the full 4-piece crit set or crit mod set in there if you wanted to. I'm running with decimator. That's just it as a whole. When it comes to the weapon, again, you run this with the blue Beetle. I got some sprint speeds out there, as you can see, for the coring, for the weapon cores, critical hit rate, electric firearm, weak point damage. All of that's kind of irrelevant. The only reason why you run the blue Beetle with a crit build is for this down here, Arcane Ninja. When using a fusion skill, grants arcane energy. So whenever we're using our throw bomb, every on a 7-second cooldown. That's our fusion skill. That's why it's important to have the throw bond down on a fairly low cooldown. Is it's a fusion skill. Once you pop the fusion skill, you automatically are able to take advantage of the skill critical hit rate at 115% for 10 seconds. And it's a trigger rate, it's a 100% trigger rate on that. So that's why we run it, get the extra skill critical hit rate to push it over the top, so you're maximizing the damage. That's why I don't really go with the emergency measures. I spec into the critical hit damage because I know I get more critical hit rate through the Blue Beetle weapon when using the fusion skill throw bomb. So yeah, that's my Supermassive Receptor build that I'm currently using. Again, I do have a showcase run in there. I hope it helps. Hope the explanation helps. Enjoy.